Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel in which we're going to start the BBL team previews for SuperCoach for the 25-26 season. First up is the Adelaide Strikers. We'll be going through their predicted 11, or my predicted 11 for them, alongside going through their fixture. And then we'll go through player by player and sort of go through, I guess, the more relevant players as for them. As we get to the fixture, you will see that there isn't many relevant players for them in general. So this one won't be as big a video, I don't think, as the likes of the Hobart Hurricanes and the Sydney Sixers ones. But they do have some interesting international players to look at and to go through for their stats wise, because there could be a sneaky gem in there. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's jump into it. So, as you can see here to start, here is the predicted 11 that I have for them to start. I believe that they do not have any international players, or at least the non-Australian players that are missing from the start of the tournament, which is a good thing. I believe there's only like 3 of them there, and I don't believe that any of them apply to the likes of the Strikers. The only one that could potentially be it would be the likes of Jamie Overton, but I don't believe he is away, which is a good thing. That definitely does help dramatically. But anyway, jumping into the starting 11 that I predict for the Strikers, Matt Short is just going to continue up at the top of the order for them. He's done it consistently for what now, 4 or 5 years. And although with this lineup, you'll see he probably doesn't have as many, as many bowling opportunities, because the likes of Liam Scott being there, he should still be able to get some overs in. He probably isn't going to be a valuable start this year because he's going to be on continuous singles, it feels like, forever, or for the most part of the year. So we really want to stay away from that. But still, it's going to be, I think, fine for him to start. Well, he's going to be fine in general over the long term, but not to start the year. He will be probably still a top 10, top 15 scorer, but he won't, in my opinion, be a good start, because just so unbelievable amount of value, I should say. But anyway, on to the number 2. The other opener that I have him pairing with is Mac Harvey. There's been some, I guess, debate whether it's Harvey, whether it be Sanger, whether it be someone else, whether it be even Chris Lynn himself. We will go through the players that do miss out once we get through this, and you'll see there are some potential players that could come in, but yeah, I just don't see a way in which Harvey doesn't play, given what we've seen at South Australian level. So I just have him playing and starting out as the opening bat there. Then we've got Chris Lynn at number 3. I think this one's pretty obvious unless he opens, but we haven't seen him, I don't think, open in a while, so don't think that's going to happen. Then Jason Sanger at 4. This one's also, I think, relatively obvious. So yeah, he will be fine, and he will slot in there. 77k, so he potentially is a guy of value that you might select, even though they don't have the early double. So you might he might be one that you still go for, just because there's going to be value there, especially if he rolls his arm over for an over or 2. We've seen in the past when he was at the Thunder, he batted really highly up the order and averaged 61.8. So being priced at like 25, 26, maybe 27 areas, that is obvious value there. It's just, I don't think that role really presents itself as much. And then you've got also Liam Scott there. I have him batting at number 5. Some people don't have him in their starting 11, and I can sort of understand why they may want the likes of Alex Ross in there. I just think that Liam Scott, we've seen him start to really take over in the last 6 to 12 months in the Australian domestic scene, and I think this is the year where he really does take over that spot. Alex Ross, I think, is going to start to take a little bit of a backward step. and just become that off the bench type of player rather than that walk-up starter. But this is a position I could be slightly wrong with. Obviously, they could go Alex Ross. I just believe that they go Liam Scott over him. Then batting 6, Jamie Overton, which probably shows how weak this batting lineup is in general, that you've got Short and Lynn, the only real 2 legitimate batters in the lineup that are BBL quality. And then you've got sort of fill-ins of Harvey. Sanger probably should be BBL quality, but we haven't seen it in like 4 years. And then Liam Scott's had 1 or 2 good knocks. So then you get down to Jamie Overton, who can whack the ball, but he should be coming in that 15th, 16th over, rather than potentially coming in very, very early in the 10th, 11th. It's mostly because the keeper in Nielsen is shocking with the bat. That does cause a lot of the problems. And when Nielsen is replaced eventually by the likes of Alex Carey, and when Mac Harvey is replaced by the likes of a Travis Head, this lineup becomes infinitely stronger. So yeah, that is going to happen later on in the year, but you could also say that with about 3 or 4 other lineups. Just look at the lineup that that the Sydney Sixers get, close enough. When they get Smith, Stark, is Hazelwood even signed? Don't think so. They get 2 or 3 guys back as well to add to their ever-growing list alongside the likes of Sam Curran, who comes in and around 2 rounds earlier than the Ashes Test boys come back. So there's that. But Overton, I think he's going to be the real value play. Well, not value play, I should say. Just the big onus on getting him in the double, as he's going to be the only one basically of value. That'll be around the time that the Ashes players do come back. I think it's in and around that round 7, round 8. There's about 3 games that they play that they're suspected most of the Aussie players to play. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, Jamie Overton is going to be the guy that we're all going to grab in round 7 when they're on their double. Nielsen, far out. How does he get a contract? I think I even spelled his name wrong. That's how irrelevant he is. And then you've got Hassan Ali here. Hassan Ali, will go a deep dive into him later, but I do really like the value there. And I have him actually batting 8 over the likes of Thornton. I know some people have Thornton over him, but if you actually look at the pure numbers of Hassan Ali with the bat, you'd see that Hassan Ali should be batting over Thornton. There's no doubt in my mind in the last sort of 12, 24 months that he's just puts together 1 or 2 innings a tournament with the bat in T20s. That's like a 20 off 10, whereas we haven't really seen that from Thornton other than like 140 off 30 when they were like 8 down for nothing. And then Luke Wood and Pope round out the 11. No room for Boyce or Buckingham in this, but they're both very, very close. Luke Wood, just an ultimate, will open the bowling, swing it around. He's all right at the death, but will do most of his damage at the top end. He does have a couple of good slower balls, but yeah, he's really dangerous in the power play. And so that'll be really interesting to see how they run this back with the 4 seamers, 4 frontline seamers alongside Scott, who I would say is still a batting all-rounder. Alongside Pope as well. So that means that they've got 6 bowling options in this lineup alongside Short. So that would be Short and Short the 7th option and Sanger the 8th option. Whereas some lineups I've seen, Short is the 6th option and Sanger the 7th option. So they drop a bowler in those lineups. So then we get to their schedule and it is rather boring. To be honest with you, it's rather dead. It looks very, very similar to the likes of the Hobart Hurricanes of old, where they are basically irrelevant from the start because they don't have a good fixture. They are straight singles up until round 7, where they've got a double game week, and then round 8 and 9, they have singles as well. So there's no real need to start a player because on their singles, obviously, because they've got there's other teams that have doubles earlier. Like you've got the Sixers, the Hobart Hurricanes, the Thunder, the Scorchers have all got really early doubles comparative to the Heat, the likes of the Strikers. I keep getting them confused. But anyway, now we move on to analysing the players by players, and you can see Short coming in at a break even of 81 off of his 81 from last year. And that's one of the low, I shouldn't say low because it's his 2nd highest average of his career, but it's very much lower than the 103 he averaged a couple of years ago. very similar to the 78 he averaged a couple years ago back as well in 22-23. And then he also did a 68 back in 21-22. So he's probably going to average somewhere around that 70 marker. I just think if you add that extra bowler of the Liam Scott-esque quality, he probably takes overs off of Short, even though they're different type of bowlers, one being a seamer, one being a spinner. I just think that Short will still get overs, but I don't know if you can expect a regular third over out of him if Scott's in the side, and that would mean that could potentially burn him. If we look at this points from last year in 24-25, how many economy rate? He gets 25 points in, that would be what? He averaged 80, that would be 8 games. So he's getting 3 points per game in economy rate bonus. If we say he's got 30 dot balls in this across 8 games, and we expect him to probably lose about a third of his overs, potentially that's another 10 points. So 10 plus economy rate bonus, we said that was about 3 points. So that is about 4 points per game at least. And then if we say he's going to lose about a third of his overs, then that could be about, 2-3 wickets, which that is about 60. So that's about 80 points he'd lose. 80 points divided by 8 is at 10 points per game expected I'd see him lose. Probably. That's maybe too rough of an estimate, but you can sort of see how you can come to that conclusion of 5 to 10 points per game very easily chopped off of Matt Short just from his bowling taking a little bit of a hit with Scott being there. So that's why you don't want to start him. He still will be mega value when we get to the double, but just there's no way in the world that I would be starting him. As you can see, there is probably not going to be too many people that start him. We don't even know his current ownership, I don't think. I could probably find it, but if I go to, where would it be? It would probably be Coach's Choice or something. You can see Short is still 35% owned. Don't know exactly why he is that far owned. I'm just going to sort this by highest price so that it can help us out. Then we've got Jamie Overton. He is owned by 17% of people. I can understand this play a little bit more than the likes of the Matt Short one, just because Matt Short has higher price, massive singles run, obviously, that they both have. But Jamie Overton's role, I don't think, will be changing at all. And so I think he's still going to be mega value. We've seen him go 73 last year and 70 the year before. So he's consistently around that marker. So I think he does really well. I just think, as we've seen before, that the likes of Jamie Overton and the rest of the Strikers lineup, they don't have that early double. And we know that doubles are so unbelievably valuable. So that's just a no for me on that front. Like, if we look at they are the last team to go on a double, are they? No, the Renegades have a double in round 8. That is the last team to go on a double. But the Strikers have a double in round 7, as we said, and that is the second last team to go on a double. You've even got the Sixers who have gone through 2 doubles and a bye. You've got the same with the Stars and the same with the Hurricanes, 2 doubles and a bye before the Strikers get to a double. So there'll be 7 games through 5 rounds for most of them. Or 7 games through 6 rounds for most of them. 1, 2, 4, 6. 6 games through 5 for the Stars and 5 through 3 for the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes get to 7 games in 5 rounds, which is absolutely huge comparative to other teams. So that's just way more valuable than the 2 less games that the Short and Overton get, especially as we know, you can have a stinker in a game and put up 0. And obviously you want that to, not happen in general, but if it does happen, you want that to happen on a double game week where they can come back strong because it can tank cash. Like, if we look at Short here, if he goes to 60-70, drops 2.8k, I believe it's something like a K every about 4 break-even points you miss. So if he drops to 0, he's down 20-odd K with a massive break-even down to 195k. Obviously, he's probably not going to do that, but he could do that. Henry Thornton, 47, that he's priced at. I don't like this pick as much. Batting 9, no doubles in sight. Just cannot see it. Liam Scott, 122k. If he does get the role, which I'm projecting he does, he could be somewhat of value. He just doesn't strike me as someone that will score heavily. I know he did score this big game here, but I think he'll be a bit parts type of player. He's going to bat 5. He's probably going to bat bowl 2 to 3 overs, I suspect. So that would mean I just don't rate him as too much of an option. Chris Lynn, he's been in and around this mark for quite a few years, actually. 47, 45, 67 was a massive up. 54, then this next one's going to be, I think, in the 25s, and this one's going to be in the 55 range, and then 46, and then again 43. So you can kind of see he's constantly in and around, and then that 106 was under the old scoring system, because it definitely benefited batters more under that old system. But you can see Chris Lynn, probably if you were to take this whole scoring system and average it across his career, he's probably going to average about 50. So with expected values and all that, I just don't think there's any value there in starting Chris Lynn. Now, this guy, Hassan Ali, I want to bring attention to him. I want to bring attention to him because if you look at his underlying numbers, he could be the pick of the season. Now, it sounds crazy to say that for a guy on a single till round 7, but at 117k, now we look at his numbers here. And we go to I want to go to matches played because I want to show you this in terms of T20. So 9 off 6, nothing massive. 8 off 10, nothing massive. 60 runs in 8 innings, nothing massive there. But you get a 22 off 8 and a 22 off 13. So that means that that's already got 50 bonus points there from strike rate, which means in 8 innings, he scores 110 runs with the bat, which is huge. 110 points with the bat. That's an average of, 14, 13 with the bat, 13 and a half with the bat. Then in this one, 1 off 1. And then in this comp, 58 through 6 innings with a 24 off 13. That's going to be a strike rate bonus applied one. So that means in 6 innings here, he's gone and gotten 83 points, which is still 13 and a bit again, still coming up with that ratio-ish of around about 13, 14 points for each innings he bats. And then 25 off 10 in this one. So that was a big 51. And that was for him in recent T20s. And then with the ball, this is going to be annoyingly not flick over. Hopefully it does flick over. Here we go. 3 for 47. Then he's got 1 for 38, 1 for 48 in the T20. Not the best. And then in the blast, 12 innings for 25 wickets. 1 for 15, 3 for 32, 2 for 19, 3 for 32, 4 for 22, 1 for 22. 2 for 32, 3 for 42, and then 6 for 23. So I just want to also say that that would be an average of roughly 42 or so points per, what's that? That would be 500 points in 12 games. So 500 divided by 12, 41.6 if he was just going off the bowling wickets. That's just off the bowling wickets. Now, if we go to the batting, I could obviously show you and done this and said, oh, look, he's going to score X amount. But if we go 5, that's going to be 510 points in 12 matches, which if you look at that, 610 points in 12 matches, which if you look at that, that's 50.83 already value there. And that's without including all the dot balls that he got and stuff like that. And I can tell you that if we look at the likes of Jamie Overton, because remember Jamie Overton, he averaged 73.8. And look at the stats in those games. He took 11 wickets. He did score 191 runs. Slightly different. Let's go to actually his 23-24 stats just to show you. Okay, 16 wickets, 85 runs, strike rate bonus there, dot ball bonus. I can actually also just show you here as well. In that T20 blast, he would have also got another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 points in the likes of the 3 wicket bonus. So that would be now 660 divided by 12. So without even countering in dot balls, he's at 55, which just shows the value there. And then you can also see in the PSL, and obviously the economy rate, you're probably going to cop an economy rate bonus somewhere in here. I'm not even going to count it, but I'd suggest there's probably about 40, 50 points in that, which would get him close enough to about a 60 average. You can see it's the same in the PSL. The numbers are the same. And then the big thing I want to show you, and it's not really going to come up with the likes of a Jamie Overton as per this, but if we do look at T20s here for bowling wise, Ireland, T20 Blast here, 4 innings, 3 wickets, not really there. This here, and then you see this 9 innings, 11 wickets here. And we're saying that in that 11 wickets, we would have only counted 220 points. And he actually got a little bit more. If we look at the stats here for 24-25, he got 220. He had 57 dot balls, 9 extra economy rate bonus taken away because of the extras. So that's plus 48 and then plus 25 for the economy rate. So that's already a plus 73 we haven't applied if you looked at Jamie Overton's stats. And so that would be roughly, let's just do it roughly, if we were to apply that to his campaign, he averaged roughly 61 in the T20 Blast. Now he's priced at 44. There's ultra value here because that's forgetting the catches, that's forgetting a lot of things, maybe a potential run out or two, you know. So I just think that there is ultra value there. We've seen him do it in the PSL, and then the National T20 Cup, that was a piss take for him, 4 innings, 13 wickets, and we saw that 1 innings with the bat. I think he's going to be the pick to watch this year, even though he's on singles, because he could be very, very valuable. And then the one to also just go to as well, the 117k Luke Wood. If we go to his T20 form, you can see 20 runs in 5 innings. That's why I have him batting pretty low, just not scoring in the T20 Blast. The PSL, 10 runs from 4 innings. T20 Blast as well, 51 from 8 innings as well there. IPL 9, and then PSL, and then ILT 20. He actually scored some runs in that, had 1 good knock, but that's something like 30 innings and 1 score above 20. We've seen Hassan Ali have about 4 or 5 in that same time span. So then we get to this. I'm just going to flick him back and forth to try and get the T20 bowling. Here we go. So you can see T20 bowling, 2 wickets against New Zealand, against Ireland, no wickets, against South Africa, 2 wickets. And then the T20 Blast, utterly similar. 25 from 12, 22 from 11. And then we get to the PSL, 11 from 8. And then we get to the PSL for the likes of Hassan Ali, 17 from 10. This is why I'm telling you Hassan Ali could be the pick of the year. Because Luke Wood puts up numbers, but not to the scale of Hassan Ali. And we're looking for that all-rounder. And I just think that Hassan Ali is going to be it. So that's why I'm actually tempted to start Hassan Ali. Even though he's on singles. If he wasn't on singles, Hassan Ali, he would be like 40% owned. He should be 40% owned if he had the schedule of any of the big teams. If he just didn't have the Strikers or the Renegades schedule, even if he had the purse scorches of a double in round 4, I'd be willing to go for it. But you're going to miss out on so much of his cash generation just because he's got the dumbest schedule ever. Like, just, I wish they had put a double somehow of him in, like, round 5. That would have been interesting. But that round 7 double just eliminates so much value. But he is my one pick for the Strikers that I really do like. I think he bats 8. He comes in at the end, can smack a 20 off 10 in just 1 or 2 innings this year. That would be a lot of points. And then he's going to pick up wickets for fun, I feel like. Bowling, he's a predominantly full and straight Yorker length bowler that does like to reverse swing the ball. And I think that will be ultra valuable late in the innings at the likes of the Adelaide Oval, where the teams start to try and target the short square boundaries. So if he's bowling full and straight, he'll get a lot of LBWs bowled and a lot of caught on the rope, whether that be trying to swing it across the line to the likes of the square boundaries, or whether it be them trying to go over the top long straight because the straighter boundaries are longer. Terry's not going to be there when we need him. I don't even know if he's going to be there for the double. Lloyd Pope, 101k. I don't think there's value there, especially early on. Alex Ross, I'm surprised, is selected by anyone at 94k. Just no value there. Cam Boyce, I don't think gets a game. Sanger's probably the one in this area that I actually think could be valuable just because he might get a bowl. And we've seen in the past, if we do go to his stats from, it's probably going to be 21-22. Yep, I picked the year. You can see he scored 384 runs, but also picked up 3 wickets with the ball. And there was just runs in most games that he played. Adelaide Oval, he scored a 91. That's definitely going to help. But yeah, just runs in game after game after game. 39, 47, 56, 91 run with the bat. Then missed out for 1 game and then went 34, 56, 31, 22 to end the game, end the season, I should say. Just on a magnificent run, and that's why he was ultra valuable that year. Don't think that happens this year though, but at 77k, if he had the early double, you might have done this, but it just doesn't, and that's just what it is with the Adelaide Strikers. Mackenzie Harvey, 58k, has just never really gotten going in the not the WBBL, but the BBL itself. 45 runs in last year's comp, and then the 20 runs in the year before, 48 the year before that, and then 231 in the year before that. So 21-22 was his year where he did average 31.9. He's priced at 22. Just, I don't see there being value there. The thing is, if he was just like a Fraser McGurkin style in terms of being able to hit out the ball a lot cleaner, a lot slicker, I would be probably selecting him at that 58k. I just cannot see it with him. He really struggles to get the strike rate bonuses that other players get to, and that's the reason why he's probably not going to be as valuable as you would think at 58.5k. But anyway, that is the Adelaide Strikers preview. 26 minutes long. Did go long, but we did talk a lot about Hassan Ali. Did a lot of breakdown on him because he is the one, in my opinion. He is one of the players that I'm really keen on, one of the imports. That's really where I try and base a lot of my knowledge on, is doing a lot of, or knowing a lot of the imports that go through the draft and trying to give you guys the best heads up. And I think Hassan Ali, alongside, I think it's Hussein, are the two, and Shadab Khan, are the 3 imports that I really like this year. So we saw the stats are telling us that Hassan Ali is going to be a really good import if we look at his T20 stats, and I think Adelaide Oval might actually help him out. So yeah, I really do like him, and I think he's going to be really, really good at the death. He's going to be I think he's going to bowl similar to like Andrew Ty in that games. He has a crap game, but then he ends up picking up 1 at the death, 2 at the death, and continues on like having a floor score of like 25. And he could also get those ceiling 110ers if he gets in and bats, because he's going to be batting 8. But anyway, if you guys did enjoy that video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and I will see you guys back here later tomorrow, probably for another team preview or another BBL SuperCoach video, but I'll see you guys then. Bye guys.